So recently I watched a video about the best macro strategies and tips in the finals. And if I'm going to be honest, it sucked. And no offense to Let's Do It or Dixie who made the video. They're both good at what they do in their own respective fields. But there wasn't much macro strategies to be talked about in their video. Even in this one specific part of the video, they explicitly state the word yourself. And if you ask me, that doesn't really scream macro. It screams more like micro strategies. And while that's fine and good for like the beginner players, I don't think that really fits what we're looking for in macro strategies and for advanced players that are looking to get better at the game as a team. And so in this video, I kind of want to touch on real macro strategies that you can be looking at. So basically things like what to do when you're first place, what to do when you're second place, and stuff like that. And before we get started with the video, you might be wondering, who am I? Well, I was the in-game strategist for Global Breakout in the game Due Process, which is a tactical shooter. And I helped my team win multiple championships in DPL. But if we're talking about the finals, I was top 300 in both the open beta and the closed beta 2. But ranks don't really matter, and I'm going to show you why right now. So we have a clip here by Strictly FD titled "What the Top 50 Players in the Finals Sound Like." And basically, we can already see right here in this situation, Cash Out D is already 25% taken, and Vault 5 is already ready to be open. And right now, this team is first place with the most money. There's 2 minutes left on the clock. So if you look at this strategically, what should the first place team do? Here's what they did.
Kill. I'm not with you yet. Hold up. Yeah, okay.
Push up.
There's two teams.
That's one
There's
day.
two teams. Above. All 3 squads are here.
Just heal me.
We're getting shot at from above. I dropped him.
Put the APS down. Come over here, left side. Push left side.
FPS is down.
Yeah. Left side. Push left. Push left.
Wish they could buckle up. The laws of gravity are about
Don't
to
let them take it, don't let them-
in the arena.
So here's the correct answer. The first place team should go and defend Vault 5. And the reason is because even if any other team got Cash Out D, they still wouldn't be able to knock out the first place team. And you might be wondering, like, now you're second place. You're going to be third place soon. But the idea is that there's 2 minutes left. When Cash Out D ends, there will be 1 minute left, and there wouldn't even be time to start another cash out. So as long as you defend 5 for at least 1 minute or 30 seconds, you should be fine to qualify even as a second place qualification. But instead, the people in the video, what they did was they put themselves at risk fighting for Cash Out D. And you can tell they're actually fighting for Cash Out D because one of them says,
Don't let them take it.
don't let them take it. And this is a problem because if you're at 17K and second place is at 15K and third place is at 10K, you guys are all very close to each other money-wise. And if your team gets wiped, you lose 30% of that. So 17K, you're already down. Well, I don't know how to do math, but you're down at least 5K, right? That automatically puts you down below or to third place at least. And that's not good. So when you're first place, you really want to play super passive and try to avoid as much risk as possible, especially when the timer is very low. Not to mention, if you hit 5 and defend it, you will get an extra $1,000, which is always a good cushion in case another team goes off and starts killing a whole bunch of people and getting a lot of money. And when I'm saying hit 5, I'm not saying put 5 in a cash out. I'm saying you open 5, you run with 5. And just run away from the cash out as far as possible. That way you're guaranteeing that another cash out will not happen and you will solidify your place in top 2. So you might be wondering, what should you do in second place? And I mean, there's a lot of different scenarios that could happen, but basically the biggest thing you want to do when you're trying to figure out these big macro questions is think. You have to think, right? So you have to think about the situation you're in and what actions can you do that will allow you to keep you in the top 2 spot to qualify. So in this situation, this is one of my clips, and basically we're in second place, and there's 1 minute and 25 seconds left. We are very much in second place. There's a 15K difference between us and first place, or 20K? I cannot do math. But anyways, Third place is really close to us. There's 1K difference between us and third place, and this is really bad. Basically, what we did is, since we're so close to third place, we want to increase our lead by however much we can, the safest way possible, and that is by hitting both vaults so we get 2K, and then defending the cash outs so the game does not go into overtime. This way, we're minimizing the risk of getting team wiped, and we're also defending the cash out so the game does not get prolonged any longer. This clip is very sloppy, if I'm going to be honest. What we should have done was basically stall the vault press as long as possible. So like when I got to vault 6, I stand there for a bit till I hear like any type of movement, I hit it and run. That way we can stall as much time as possible, because here they almost turned in the vault into the cash out, which was very not ideal for us. But in the end, we still qualified. We've already looked at 2 different scenarios at the end of the game, but what do we do at the beginning and mid-game macro-wise? If we assume that each team is equal in skill and only our macro decisions alone can change the outcome of the game, this is what I propose. The idea here is that you want to get as much money as possible, right? And you want to get top 2, but you also don't want to get team wiped because that's losing money. And you also want to start team wiping other teams. So here's what I think is the best macro play at the beginning of the game. So depending on where you spawn, vaults 1 and 2 could be far away or very close. So the strategy can change a little bit. But anyways, the ideal start would be having 2 of your players, one of them go touch 2 and one of them go touch vault 1, and then you get 2K right off the bat. And usually you'll just go for 1 vault because that's the most convenient, because it's the closest. But basically, you just touch that vault and then run to a site. Do not take the vault with you. You don't want the enemy team to know exactly where you are and what site you're going to. So the idea is that you go defend a cash out spot and let them come to you. Because if we assume that every team is equal and that we assume that defending a place is easier than attacking a place, you should have the advantage when they come to you. And ideally, you will team wipe the team that is holding the vault, and you take their vault and then you instantly put it into a cash out. That way you put them on a death timer and you already started the cash out. So you're maximizing the efficiency. You're minimizing the time you are fighting with other teams. These paint theories are just going to get a lot worse. I'm not putting any more effort. I'm not putting any more effort than this, guys. So if we keep that strategy in mind, when we get into mid-game, there's going to be some things that are different. And in this clip of Dixie's video, we have Let's Do It, the rank 1 player.
For us to actually get this vault. And as you can see on the bottom left of the screen, A is already almost half cashed out. So I decided to throw this cash away and contest A. Because by doing this, now I will have a chance to steal A. And if I do it successfully, then I'm good. If I don't do it successfully though, then I'll have another chance of stealing B.
And if I'm being honest, I think this strategy is a little bit more on the risky side. This is assuming that you are better than every other team in the game. That you are confident that you're going to win the cash out. There are 2 different strategies that I think would be better to do if you are not better than the other teams. So the first one is to grab the vault that you had and double it up on cash out A. This way, you guarantee that no other team other than the team that's already winning the cash out is going to be very much ahead of you. So theoretically, the idea is that in this situation, the orange team has 3K, but they are about to win this cash out. But if you double it up, orange will get 20K, and that's good because you're not giving the 10K to pink team or the other red team. And the reason why that's good is because you only have to fight, you're only competing against one other team, really. Because you're in top 2, you want to keep that top 2 position. If another team had gotten it pink or red, and orange successfully cashes out on A, but pink and red get the vault that you were holding and they cash out also, you are now in 3rd place. So if you double it up, you're making sure that you're only having to compete with one team for the top spot. But this is mid-game, so a lot of things can happen after the fact. But this is still a way to make sure other teams aren't getting money and to make sure you're still holding that 2nd place, which is very advantageous later in the round. And to top it off, once you give orange the double up, you can also help orange defend so no other team can get it. If another team gets that doubled up cash out, that could be very problematic for you because Orange still has more money than you, even without getting the cash out. They have 3K and you have 1.8K, which is not good because that will put you in third place. So helping Orange makes it a 2v2, or actually a 2v1v1. So you have the advantage to help Orange defend that cash out. So it's a lot easier to play and you're risking a lot less. Even though Orange still might shoot at you, you can just play your distance and make sure you're giving them cover fire from a distance and let them cash that out. Also, if you let Orange get that 20K, you now know who to avoid in the next cash outs. So if Orange has 20K and the next vaults start opening and you see Orange at one vault, you go for the other vault because you don't care if Orange keeps getting more money or not. So by going for the other vault, you're making sure third and fourth place don't go up. And that's the best way to keep the 2v1v1 going and make sure you have the best odds of getting top 2. The other way that you could play this is by letting A go and then just throwing away the vault and then just playing for the next vault. As you might know, the 2 vaults that are currently in play are 10K vaults. So they aren't worth that much. So it might not even be worth putting in that vault that Let's Do It had initially. So it might be better just to wait out the cash out A and just go for the 15K vault rather than even play for the 10K vault at all. Let's Do It likes to promote the idea of speedrunning. And basically that's a strategy of just going for every vault every time. And while, I mean, it's good, I guess, if you win it all, but like it puts your team at the most risk of getting team wipe. So even if you make it big by getting every vault, if you die, you lose a lot more than you think you will. If you have 20K from getting every cash out and whatever, when you team wipe, the effects are a lot more drastic than when you have zero money. So the best strat, I think, is to always play with low amount of cash, but also play for the bigger vaults rather than the smaller vaults. So that means going for the higher cash outs and risking a lot less on the lower cash outs. So I've been mainly focusing on the tournament qualifier rounds, but I haven't really said anything about like the final round. There isn't really much macro strategies to do for that because basically it's just one team versus another team. And it's a lot of it relies on what the other team has. So basically this means like if the other team is running like double heavy with short range weapons, you might want to play very far back and stuff like that. Like very general ideas. The only big difference the macro really changes is the way how fast you play really, because there's not multiple teams competing for multiple cash outs. This is just one cash out in one team. So a lot of this will depend on which team wins fights. So a lot of this relies on your micro skills as well as positioning. So here's a clip of that sort of idea.
I'm gonna stay up here with a stun.
Right here. Oh, it's probably too late to. We're gonna. If they get close to us, we lose. So. Don't. We gotta back up. We gotta back up somewhere. I'm going to different. You gotta move to. You. It's on.
Heavy dead.
It's another one. One dropped, one dropped.
I still have C4 on that point.
One heavy, one HP.
Heavy's 1 HP getting healed.
Oh.
No, they don't get it. Good job.
Alright. Half HP on one. Nice. One got rest.
Can't push. Both half.
I'm coming. So yeah, that basically concludes my video. There are some more nuances that I didn't really get to touch on. I didn't want to make this video too long. And yeah, if you guys want to see more, if I get 100 likes, we drop another strategy video, big for release. But yeah, if you want to know like a specific thing or something, leave a comment down below. Subscribe. Yeah. Oh, finals! The finals!